If you believe that Russians are guilty for starting the war in Ukraine, or if you believe that it serves the Ukrainians right for allowing an extreme right fascist government to remain in power, or you believe that everything you see broadcasted from the ground in Ukraine, Russia, Poland, Romania, or other surrounding countries, has been portrayed using actors, as long as it has shined negatively on Russia, or you believe that the Ukrainian president and government have been democratic and always respectful of universal human rights, or that the MSM has set the narrative for the purpose of demonizing the Russians and Putin strictly to avoid having the Russians block the Great Reset from happening, or that Putin is in no way, shape, form a participant in the vicious, elitist, capitalistic, modern human slavery systems and setups/conspiracies, or that your own government and president are in cahoots with either Putin or Zelensky, or that your own president and government forged this war as a distraction for the varying policies that contradicting human rights being propagated and set into place while all this goes on. Surprise! You have been bamboozled. Both Russians and Ukrainians are guilty of not resisting the dictatorships they have lived under for years and not revolting when the propaganda and censorship increased. As guilty as you and your fellow citizens of your country are guilty for failing to resist and revolt in time. And failing to convince enough of your fellow citizens that they were living under unjust or inhumane circumstances created by your governments. When your neighboring countries judge the validity of your life and existence based on your president and government's decision-making throughout history, that will be called karma. I doubt you'd desire it. Don't believe everything you read or see. But don't think that denying someone else's reality will make your own pathetic reality more real. Over the past few years, all governments have proven themselves to be corrupt, evil, controlling, dictating and hypocritical. Most governments have proven themselves to be fascist. Are you okay to have your neighborhood bombed with no defense from outside, for this fact? I am willing to bet that your own government has trampled all over the Universal Human Rights Declaration these past few years. The Russian government is just as responsible for and invested in the thinning out of the world population, the further bondage and slavery of surviving humans, the 1% filthy rich, advancement of tech and pharma for profit and luxury rather than equal human health and wellness for all, aka the Great Reset. These mofos government leaders of the world, including Putin and Zelensky, likely sat down over coffee, discussing a Plan B, because Plan C Bioweapon 91 Divac was not working well enough to make humans obey and submit. 10 to 20% of humans that remain aware and resistant was way too many for them. So, how to remove them? Kill two birds with one stone by continuance of a population thin out. Start a war, let them cannibalize themselves, feed their hatred, feed their paranoia, create a greater disconnect and give others a greater excuses for the persecution and destruction of these resistant borderline revolutionaries. By the time the war has made itself throughout all of Europe, and there have been nuclear explosions here and there, the humans left on the planet will be so traumatized, injured, hurt, exhausted, desperate and disillusioned that they will have no other option but to surrender to slavery. Mr. Putin is all on board with this plan and purpose, as is Zelensky, as is your presidents and all world leaders and governments. Your government is not in cahoots with either Putin or Zelensky. Both Putin and Zelensky are in cahoots with your government. The war is not a distraction from the policies. The war is method to further propagate human psychological enslavement and brainwashing towards detailed and full obedience. You did well up until now not tolerating BLLSHT and resisting mind control. Now you have once again seen the truth. Please get your brain back in order. Ain't nobody gonna give one F about your discussion points when an A-bomb drops in your city. Thank you for listening and give us a thumbs up. Oh.